Tonight we have Chapter 14 of the Onts, the final chapter. We wolves are used to somewhat better treatment. The twins shot out of the Spidell's house like cannonballs. The wolves were pretty surprised to see them. There were 27 of them in the pack, sitting or lying on the front yard. When Wally and Cheyenne appeared, they stretched their front paws straight out in front of them, raised their butts high in the air, and slowly got to their feet. Their eyes glowed red in the darkness. "Well, well, well," said the biggest wolf in a low, raspy voice. He was obviously their leader. "Look who's back. I can't tell you how relieved I am to see you kids are safe and sound. I was worried sick the Spidells might eat you." His voice was definitely the one they'd heard calling to the professor. Wally and Cheyenne were too frightened to answer. The wolves began slowly closing in on them, taking their time, knowing they had all the time in the world now. A low rumbling noise came out of their throats. Said the leader of the pack, "the guys and I were pretty hurt that you ran off before without ever saying goodbye." He looked over his shoulder at the rest of the wolves. "Weren't we hurt, guys?" "We were hurt, Fred," said one. He also had a low, raspy voice. "As wolves, we are frankly used to somewhat better treatment." "Kids today," said the wolf leader, shaking his head. "They have no manners. They really might be taught better manners, or they'll grow up to be totally rude adults. Am I right, guys?" "You couldn't be more right," said another wolf. "Sassy kids turn into sassy adults, and it's a natural disgrace." "What I think we ought to do," said the wolf leader, "we ought to teach these kids a lesson in manners." "This might not be so bad," whispered Cheyenne into her brother's ears. "They really might just want to teach us some manners." "Yes," said the wolf leader. "I think we need to teach these kids a lesson in manners they won't forget for the rest of their lives. For the whole 5 minutes of the rest of their lives," he chuckled nastily. "On second thought," whispered Cheyenne, "it might be pretty bad after all." Wally nodded. "Do you have any suggestions?" whispered Cheyenne. "Just do whatever I do," Wally answered under his breath. "What are you going to do?" whispered Cheyenne. Good question, thought Wally. What am I going to do? Well, if the choice is being eaten by wolves or giant spiders, I choose wolves. It takes less time to have your throat torn out than to be injected with venom and have your insides slowly turn to mush. Wally began to growl. Cheyenne had never heard her brother growl before. It was a low guttural sound, like he was clearing his throat, but lasting longer than that and getting louder. The wolves looked surprised. They'd never heard a human growl before. Then Cheyenne tried it, imitating Wally, but finding it easier than she expected because of all the snot that lived in her nose and throat. The wolves looked at the two growling children, then at each other. They didn't know whether to laugh or be impressed. "What are you guys doing?" asked the lead wolf uneasily. "Clearing your throats? You got a virus or stuffed up sinuses?" Wally's growling grew louder, so did Cheyenne's. "You know what's better than Sudafed for clearing out your old sinuses?" said the wolf. "Horseradish. Yep, plain old horseradish. Or sitting in a hot, steamy sauna." "If you're ever trapped by a bear," Wally remembered from the encyclopedia under the Animals Attacking Humans unexpectedly in dark forests of southern Ohio heading, "sometimes you can out-bluff it. It might not attack if it thinks you're not afraid of it." Wally took a nervous step in the wolf's direction. So did Cheyenne. A few of the wolves glanced uneasily at them. "Sounds to me like a virus," said the wolf. "There's a lot of that going around now. What you need is to drink lots of fluids, rest in bed, and gargle with hot, salty water. Oh, and take echinacea, of course." "He's starting to babble," Wally thought. "Maybe we're making him nervous. I heard that if you're ever attacked by a mugger, the best thing to do is act crazy. The one thing muggers can't handle is crazy people." Wally suddenly changed his growling to crazy cackling, high-pitched laughter. Cheyenne immediately did the same. They sounded like two hyenas. All the wolves looked startled. "What's so funny?" asked the lead wolf, but he sounded worried. Wally took another step in the lead wolf's direction. He was now 4 feet away. Cheyenne was right beside her brother. "Hey," said the wolf, You wouldn't be laughing at us now, would you? Because wolves don't like to be laughed at. No, sir. That's the one thing we don't allow, being laughed at. Wally took another step in the lead wolf's direction. One of the wolves backed up a few steps, then pretended it had nothing to do with Wally at all. Wally was so close he could see the wolf's long snout, his dripping fangs, his soft, wet nose. He could feel the wolf's hot breath on his face, the wolf's hot, stinking breath. I've got his attention now, Wally thought. He doesn't know what to make of me. He looks really confused. Now I've got to do something totally unexpected. It'll either work or it'll get us killed, but I've got to do it now. Wally bit the wolf on the nose. Youch! Cried the wolf, grabbing his nose. What are you doing? Are you insane? Are you completely nutso? He looked over his shoulder at the other wolves. Did you guys see what this maniac just did to me? He turned back to Wally. You're going to get it now, man. You're so dead, it isn't even funny. 3 wolves near the edge of the pack drifted away, pretending to be snapping at fireflies. Cheyenne took the cover off her salt and pepper shaker and threw pepper in the wolf's face. Achoo! The wolf shouted. What is wrong with you kids? Don't you realize who you're dealing with here? We're ferocious man-eating wolves. We eat children the way you eat Malamars. Do you have any idea what we're going to do to you now? The lead wolf looked over his shoulder at the members of his pack. Just out of curiosity, are you guys behind me here? 6 of the wolves cleared their throats and scratched their bellies and looked rather uncomfortable. Any other night of the week, Fred, said one of the wolves, I'd be right beside you, tearing out throats. But I just realized my wife expected me back in the den 20 minutes ago. I really gotta run. He turned and trotted off into the forest. Oh boy, said another wolf. Would you look at the time? I had no idea how late it is. I gotta run too. Sorry, Fred. He trotted off into the forest as well. Phew, said a third wolf. What could I be thinking staying out this late? My wife's gonna tear my throat out for sure. See you tomorrow, Fred. He followed the others into the woods. The remaining wolves slunk away into the darkness, bellies so low they rubbed the ground. The wolf leader turned back to Wally and Cheyenne. Normally, for what you 2 just did to me, I'd tear your throats out myself, he said. You're just lucky I pulled a jaw muscle, tearing out a bunch of throats on Thursday. If I tore yours out now, I wouldn't be able to howl for a week. Wally and Cheyenne began growling again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you off easy this time, said the wolf. But try anything like this again, and man, you are really going to get it. The wolf leader turned around and trotted off after the rest of the disappearing pack. Cheyenne and Wally watched them go. I can't believe we scared off an entire pack of man-eating wolves, said Wally. I can't believe you bit a wolf on the nose, said Cheyenne. Where did you ever get the guts to do that? I don't know, said Wally. It just seemed like a good idea at the time. Where did you ever get the guts to throw pepper in his face? Same place, said Cheyenne. You know what I think? What? I think we're learning how to handle ourselves pretty well against scary things. Well, we're okay against man-eating wolves, I guess, Wally admitted. And against giant glowing slugs that eat orphans' feet, said Cheyenne. Right, said Wally. And against bullies who try and stick us with nasty nicknames. I guess so, said Wally. But we're still not too good against giant ants, giant spiders, or greedy orphanage owners. But 3 out of 6 isn't bad, said Cheyenne. Wally chuckled in spite of himself. Well, it's a start, he said. Cheyenne giggled. She hugged him. And then together they headed out of inky black dripping fang forest. And that is the end of the Onts. I hope you enjoyed the story. And if you like it, there's a whole series that goes with it. You can check it out at the library. See you later.